Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome to another video here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we've got a really exciting video for you following the release of FSLTL or Flight Simulator Live Traffic Liveries. This is the latest AI traffic mod for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, since the Flight Simulator's release, there have been several incarnations of AI traffic mods. Just Flight from Aerosoft, which simply repainted the generic AI aircraft within the simulator. There's AIG Traffic as well, which many of us are using at the moment, myself included, for model matching. However, it is rather cumbersome in the way you have to install everything. And of course, there was the very first incarnation of getting AI traffic liveries in, and that was just to manually download each livery you wanted from a download site like flightsim.to. So what is new and special about this latest traffic mod FSLTL? Well, in this video that is exactly what we are going to look at. We're going to compare it with AIG and test out all of the things that FSLTL offers. Things like Vatsim model matching, up-to-date live traffic from FlightRadar 24, high fidelity models which includes lights, reversers, heat blur from the engines, sounds, flaps, etc. And it also includes liveries from virtual airlines. So how does all this affect the performance of the simulator and FPS? We're going to take a good look at that as well. First of all then, let's have a look at the installation of the new product, and you'll be pleased to know that this is backed by fly-by-wire. All you'll need to do is go ahead and update your fly-by-wire installer, and then once you've done that, you're going to have the latest option to go ahead and download FSLTL. You'll find the download section on the left hand side, third one down, this little icon of the radar, and then you have two options, the base models and the injector. These are pretty self-explanatory. So the base model is literally all of your models and the liveries for all the different aircraft. The injector is if you want to fly with live traffic linked to FlightRadar 24. For the moment, I'm just going to go ahead, download the base models and check that out. As you can see, the required disk space is just under 25 gigabytes, which when I think that I've currently got 16 gigabytes of liveries for AIG, and that's not all of them, that's just a select few, I actually think that is a really nice size to say that this will contain around 900 liveries on its release. So let's check out the performance of AIG versus this new FSLTL. What you can see here is AIG models with the default live traffic provided by Azobo. We're at London Heathrow. I've left this running for a few minutes so it gets a decent amount of traffic brought in, and you can see that the FPS is holding quite steady at around 50 FPS. Now please accept my apologies for the screen capture mode. You can actually see the video looks rather jerky. That was my video recording software and not the simulator. You'll notice of course that when we change views and we've got the horizon with the City of London in the background, the FPS drops by around 10 to around 40. Okay, so let's go ahead now, remove AIG from the community folder, and we will have a look at the new FSLTL models and liveries. Okay, so reload the simulator, back as we were. This is still default live traffic, but this time it's using the new models, and we can see that actually the FPS and the performance seems to be pretty much the same at this angle, 50 FPS. Let's quickly go ahead and change back to the view with London City in the background, and you'll see that where before with AIG we had around 40, we've got a little bit less this time, around 3 to 4 FPS drop. I'd be really interested to know if you guys have also experienced a slight FPS drop with the FSLTL liveries and models. It's understandable because the models are perhaps a little bit better and there's more animations and things, so it's kind of a trade-off that you're going to have to play around with and experiment. But yeah, please do let me know in the comments down below if the new models have affected your performance somewhat. So what about all the special features, the lights, the reversers, heat blurs, sounds and flaps, etc. Let's go in for a closer look. Well, I don't know about you, but I really like the sounds that these new models seem to be giving us, and there as well you could also see the heat blur from the engines as promised. Now, this is still default live traffic using the new liveries and models, and I was a little bit disappointed to see that actually there were quite a few, as you can see here, meant to be British Airways aircraft that weren't modelled correctly. So was this a problem with FSLTL, or is it just a problem with the coding that Azobo's live traffic uses? Well, in order to check that out, we're going to have to use the traffic injection from FSLTL. This again is downloaded via the fly-by-wire installer, and it is an incredibly small file, just 103 megabytes. Once this is downloaded and installed, you'll find the folder here in your community folder, and if you go into it, there's also a really good readme file which explains all about how it's going to work and of course the limitations of the product as well. So, keen to check it out, restarted the simulator, and very important is in your data page you're going to have to turn off real world traffic from the simulator. We don't want the simulator real world traffic interfering with the injected real world traffic from the traffic injector provided by FSLTL. Ensure as well that your ground aircraft density is set to 0. To start the live traffic injecting, again, this is run through the fly-by-wire installer. Once it's all installed, you'll be able to select start, and then when you do that, it'll bring up a little dialog window. The options that are presented to you are pretty self-explanatory. You can go through and change them, or you could just hit return to go through all of them. Let's quickly go ahead and just have a look at the options. So let's type Y to go ahead and change those. Maximum active IFR aircraft, we can set 50. We can turn it off entirely by selecting 0. If you're happy with 50, then just press enter to move on to the next. Active VFR, I don't want any VFR, so I've currently set that to 0. We can do that again. Additional parked aircraft, well, this imports static aircraft into your simulator and the airports. Now we can go ahead, set that to 0 to begin with, so the only things we are going to see is live traffic injected live from FlightRadar 24. Blocked aircraft removal time refers to, of course, there are limitations. Even though the aircraft have been injected from FlightRadar 24 via FSLTL's traffic injector, they still, once they're injected, fall foul of Azobo ATC rules. Once they're injected, they are no longer controlled. It is the air traffic control within Microsoft Flight Simulator that tells them where to go and what to do. And that means, of course, sometimes they are going to get stuck in loops, things like that. So the team have developed a way which you can remove any aircraft which get stuck so they don't interfere with the overall simulator. So you can set the blocked aircraft removal time to anything within a interval of 30 seconds. So 30, 60, 120, etc. I've got mine set to 60 seconds. I'm happy to leave that. So let's go ahead and select enter. And then if you want more information on the API key for the flightplandatabase.com, then make sure you read through the documentation and it will explain all of that to you. You don't need to do that. So for now, I'm just going to leave that disabled and again, select enter. So once that's all done, we should start to see traffic getting injected here at London Heathrow based on real-time data from FlightRadar 24. I went ahead and left this running for 5 or 6 minutes just so it had time to bring everything in that it needed to bring, and then wow, my flight simulator's London Heathrow was populated with real-world traffic as close to real life as possible as you can get from FlightRadar 24 data. And this was mightily impressive. Even the British Airways aircraft, most of them were spawning in at London Heathrow's Terminal 5 as they are based in the real world. Now, sadly, you can't turn on the flight numbers in the simulator to see them matched up with their real-world counterparts. That, again, is just a limitation of the traffic injector. But with the testing that I did, I was able to ascertain that really the information I was getting here in the simulator was probably only between 4 and 5 minutes behind the real live time that I could see them on FR24. When you compare this to the default real live traffic, that's usually around 20 minutes behind time. So impressed with what I was seeing, I decided to go on a quick world tour, spawning in at some of the world's busiest and most famous airports just to see how well it was working, and it was unbelievable. There were liveries there which I had completely forgotten about, wouldn't have expected to have seen, but there they were. And a quick check of FlightRadar 24, indeed everything appeared to match up. Unfortunately though, I was left rather disappointed when I went to Dubai, expecting to see a whole raft of Emirates A380s. Instead, I was confronted with a default Microsoft Flight Simulator, strange pointy nose looking double-decker 4-engined jet. So it would seem on its release that FSLTL does not have an A380 flight model. Hopefully this is something that is going to be added over time, and I do know that new liveries and things like that are indeed being worked on at the moment. I'd love to hear down in the comments if you found any models that are quite big ones missing, or in particular liveries, because I think it's important to know what the limitations currently are. One other thing to point out, perhaps it was just because I was zipping around from airport to airport that I didn't really let it run for too long, I didn't see a single arriving aircraft. Now, I don't believe for 1 minute that arriving aircraft are not included with the real-time traffic injection, but I hadn't seen any. So leave me again a comment down below if you too are struggling to see any arriving aircraft, or indeed if arriving aircraft are absolutely working in the traffic injection and I was just unlucky enough not to see any. If you don't fly on an online network and you want real live traffic, then it seems that FSLTL has really got you covered and works amazingly well. So what of those of us who prefer to fly with online networks like Vatsim? Can we use the models here to represent the aircraft of other players on the Vatsim network? Well, yes, of course you can. And not only can you do that, but it is already incredibly easy, and I'm going to show you how in 30 seconds just to set this up. If you navigate to your communities folder and find the FSLTL traffic base folder, in there you'll notice that they have already provided you with a VMR file. This is the Vatsim model matching file, which in the past with AIG and other liveries and models, we have had to go to a great length of time to make sure they all work seamlessly. Well, that has all been done for you. All you're going to have to do is tell vPilot that this is the new rule that you want to use. In order to do that, you just need to obviously start up your vPilot, and then once that's launched, go to Settings, Model Matching, Custom Rules, add the custom rule set, locate your community folder, find that file, which is there, set that and apply. Click OK. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Let's check it out. And there we are, straight away without any faffing about. There we are, Ryanair Vatsim aircraft taxiing along, and if I go ahead and check the VATSpy map, I can see we've got Ryanair aircraft showing as Ryanair, EasyJet as EasyJet. Everything appears to be showing the correct airline. The team have also included backup models, so if a particular Vatsim flight is a strange airline that's not recognised, at least you'll be able to see the models. That said, quite a few virtual airlines are already included, so that's really nice to be able to now see when we're flying on the Vatsim network. So in conclusion then, what will I continue to use? Will I continue with AIG, FSLTL, or a combination of the two? I have to be honest, I've been really impressed with FSLTL and everything that it does, just the simplicity of it as well, and the fact that its installation and everything is backed up by the fly-by-wire team, which we know of course make amazing add-ons and make everything quite intuitive and easy when it comes to installation. This is by far the easiest setup for Vatsim I've ever done. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. We want to fly. We don't want to spend hours of our time tweaking files to make sure they work. We just want to jump in and fly. And to be honest, that is exactly what FSLTL delivers. So yes, there may be a few models missing at the moment, like the A380, though there's no really good A380 to currently fly on the Vatsim network. We're all eagerly awaiting the fly-by-wire version, of course. So I think from this moment on, everything you're going to see on the live streams and videos are going to be models and liveries courtesy of FSLTL. I would be very interested to know what you guys are doing. Are you sticking with AIG? Are you using FSLTL? Or are you going to use a combination of the both? To be honest, I find it quite hard to justify the disk space that AIG takes up, because most of these airlines and models will be duplicates. There's probably just the one or two that currently FSLTL is missing that AIG would probably cover, and FSLTL is going to be continuously updated as well. We'll wait to see how that develops. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have found this video useful. I can't wait to hear what your comments are regarding this new traffic add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like. Really appreciate every one of you that goes ahead and does that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any future video content and of course live streams. Thank you so much. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.